Good morning everyone. You're all pretty versed in Norse mythology, I imagine. No, I don't mean that time Loki shattered the whole of space and time because he was trying to get his end away. Although come to think about it, that probably did happen at one point or another. Anyway, I ask because today we'll be looking at something highly akin to Thor's own mighty weapon, only rather than flying around the 9 realms, it's hidden in some decrepit dungeon. Yes, we're covering the Paladin's Hammer from Terraria. The Paladin's Hammer is a rather large and considerably powerful weapon that can be found in the hands of the Paladin, a burly armor-clad knight who dwells within the dungeon. Unlike other hammers in Terraria, it cannot be utilised as a tool, and unlike many other standard weapons, it is not swung but is rather thrown, returning to its wielder upon reaching its maximum distance. Interestingly enough, this distance can vary, depending on the quality of the hammer's forging. Firstly, the weapon's comparison to Mjolnir, Thor's magical hammer of Norse myth, cannot simply be ignored, as there are very few examples throughout history of a weapon returning to its owner when thrown, let alone a hammer. This means that it has to be at least considered that the hammer may indeed be Mjolnir itself, coming to Terraria and falling into the hands of the Paladin by some unknown means. This is highly far-fetched though, and a much more likely situation is that despite the substantial power of the Paladin's hammer, it's probable that Thor's hammer would have been considerably stronger, and that this weapon may have been inspired in some way by the original, or simply came to have the same properties by mere coincidence. Official sources state that the Paladins were the guards of an ancient and prosperous city, a place that became the dungeon when it fell to an unknown curse. This indicates that the inhabitants of the city were master forgers and had a great understanding of advanced magic, allowing them to imbue the hammer with its abilities. While the knowledge of how to craft the item has since been lost, and the material that makes it up being completely unknown, it does bear a resemblance to items crafted with hallowed ore. This extends to the armor worn by the Paladin itself, appearing more specifically to be ancient hallowed armor, distinct from the modern variant in that it's much less garish and regal, something that is also true of the Paladin's hammer when compared to the Puin hammer. This means that where the hallow could be said to be currently out of control, spreading wherever it can, in the distant past, it might have been much more under control, able to be harnessed by civilizations such as the Paladins. It could even be that it was the hallow itself that was the curse which brought ruin to the city, its inhabitants managing to lock it away before falling all the same. Other theories, more in line with the legends of Terraria, rather than its written history, suggest that the Paladins that wander the dungeon are ancient and failed champions. It could be that they followed a similar path to each other, laid out by a guide of sorts, only for their minds to fail when they attempted to forge hallowed equipment. It's possible that only through an entity more than human could the weapons and armor be crafted to face the most terrible creatures of Terraria. Regardless, somehow the knowledge to craft this great weapon seems to have been lost, and now it remains only a powerful relic of a past era. The Paladin's hammer is far from the most powerful weapon in Terraria, but in the right hands it can still be wielded to great effect. In all, the commonalities with Thor's hammer appear to be merely superficial, and given that multiple Paladins inhabit the dungeon, the weapon is not actually unique. It is, however, ancient, rare, and mysterious, meaning that the Paladin's hammer must be given an artifact rating of remarkable. So what, you don't have to be worthy to carry it. Anything that returns to me upon my command is pretty badass in my book, be that a dog, a Tesla, or yes, even some kind of ancient magic hammer. Anyways, be sure to subscribe for more course content and become a patron or channel member to support the lecture series and get early access to my classes. Now go, have a great day, and be sure to let me know if you happen upon a divine artifact laying around in a field.